What's going on, brothers? Welcome to the Black Men's Congregation. I'm one of your hosts, BMT, Black Male Talk, alongside with Man of Tomorrow, also known as MOT. We'll be coming at you today with another classic segment for the Black Men's Congregation, in which we believe in the self-empowerment of men that are building to be the better man of tomorrow. So take a seat as you come on in. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, support the movement. As you also come on and like the video. All right? Share the video if you like the content. Share it with people that need to hear this message. I'll be passing on MOT, the topic for today. They will always invalidate your progress. Go ahead,
All
MOT.
right, all right. Good morning, everybody. I want you to understand on this path of change and success that you're on, you're going to realize that you're going to, during your time in your incremental actual progress, you're going to notice as you start to climb this ladder called success that you're going to pass some people up. And no matter how far that you've climbed, those people will always invalidate your progress. They will invalidate your success. They want to try to equalize your circumstances to mirror what their circumstances is. And I'm just saying, once you recognize that those things are particularly happening, that's when you know that you're on the right path. They have their shot and their chances just like everybody else. And they have to understand that their past sometimes catches up to them a little bit faster than they would like. But that has nothing to do with you because you decided to do the right thing with your time. So you can't take your self-improved state and the first people who you're trying to help out with your self-improved state are people who never tried in the first place. That seem to be part and parcel of what the black experience has always been all about. But we need to change that. We need to help people who's already on the level and help them be better people. Then we circle around and get those people later on who haven't been trying at all. We're just trying to help the best get better so that way we can all be good in the end. But for the stagnant, they don't want to wait. They want theirs right away. What they don't understand or neither get is that you ain't supposed to be waiting around for a team to be formed for your benefit. You're supposed to go out there and form your team for your own benefit. A lot of times we have it wrong, and we've been having it wrong, and this is how come we became stagnant as people. We got it wrong by letting the people monopolize or even start conversations of the people who are in the greatest of need. But they're not in the greatest of need because of where they started. They're in the greatest of need because of their own actions. So you got people who don't want to change, but they always want to start the conversation on who gets the benefit from what and who actually needs the most help. Somehow we've allowed these people to monopolize all conversations in Black America, when it should be the people who have done something with their life be the ones who monopolize these spaces and these conversations. You have to realize that being treated like a human being that's worth dignity and respect isn't something that's special. It's something that's basic that happens other places that don't happen here. And they'll try to invalidate your lack of being treated like a human being around these people who think they care about you as somehow something that is your fault and that's your problem. When it's they're the ones who have the problem with everything that's happening. You have to understand the higher you climb, the more they will hate you. Since you cannot control them on an independent basis, it's best that you accomplish all and everything that you need to right now in your time. So that way you're not waiting on them to accomplish anything. Because those people are already the finished product of who they're going to be. They're already there. But the only thing they need for you to do is to stop trying so that way they can be even more successful. You need to understand that is their actual plan. Their actual plan is to stop all progress around them, no matter the cost. This is what happens when you have aggressive quitters who want to lead such a situation or any situation. They don't think that they have to bring any type of track record to the table in order to be trusted with leadership. And these are things that are very frequent that happen within Black America and Black society. And we just got to be able to turn this thing around and put different people in charge. And the first thing you have to do is you have to proudly be able to stand alone, proudly be able to weather that criticism, proudly be able to look directly into their face and say, nope, I'm going to do otherwise. And I'm not going to let you invalidate my success, especially from somebody who never tried. Because yes, you may try and you have failed. That doesn't mean you should not try at all. That means you should always try to make sure that you are the best person that you can be. And you can't do that from a stagnant state. You can only do that for a constantly, incrementally self improvement type status. That's what you have to do as a man. You have to admit your wrongs and correct them in your time. You are not going to be able to change the way that you was raised. You're not going to be able to change who your family members are. You wasn't assigned all that. But you get to assign to yourself the future. You have a hand in that. There's a lot of people who try to take that individual power away from you because they misuse theirs. But what you have to get is that in your time, things are going to be different in your time. You're going to listen to everything that those people are saying, and you're going to do quite the opposite of what they've done in your time. Because your time is meant to be spent differently, doing different things. Because those people time are up and they have a lot of time left on the shot clock and they don't know what to do with the rest of it. This is not your legacy. This is merely their legacy. So the best thing you can do is separate from yourself from people and never try to gain the respect of people who don't respect you or your time. And never let them invalidate your progress because they don't have any to point towards. That doesn't mean that they get to bring you down right along the path that they are. We have allowed for the armies of the unrighteous to outnumber the people of the righteous. But that's also a choice too. You get to make a choice in your time whether these people are going to be able to lead your household or whether they're going to be staying the hell away from you and your household. You have to understand how powerful choice is. That's all I got, Joe. Thanks for coming out, brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. As I've been sitting here and I've been having my experiences on YouTube. And I started to learn a lot. I was going to save it for BMT, and I probably still will do my talk over there later on. I started to learn that it's not my job to save these people. I'm not obligated to. We're not obliged to. I find it ironic that it's Sunday. As much as they go to church or whatever they believe in or pray to or fall on their knees to, see, that's their choice. Because one that God said, carry your own cross. And I'm like, if you saying carry your own cross, why y'all asking me to lift y'all up? Why y'all asking me to shoulder what you did and I got to do what I got to do? You see, for a while, a lot of you men, and I find it very interesting because we're seeing a lot of these laws, a lot of these things starting to get passed. And as I hear it, it's like I'm hearing a lot of the people who have never wanted to be accountable say that, how can y'all let them do this to us? And I'm like, wait, hold up. I've been participating. I've been working. I am happy that this is happening. Because what's going on is now, and I want y'all to take accountability and look into this. These shutdowns of these systems are causing them to have to work. And if they didn't do the work for the final exam, that means they won't pass. Let me say that again. If you've been dependent on a certain type of system that's kept you capped off, and you've never tried to go past that, and you never try to work past that, then you're at your limit. And you see what happens is they'll say, psst, psst, MOT, let me cheat off your paper. And he'll look at you and he'll say, why? Come on, man. Like, I mean, come on, listen, help me out. But hold up, MOT. In the back of his head, he'll say, I studied for this test. I busted my behind. I went to the library and picked up extra books. I sat down after school when everybody was out and studied the curriculum and put myself through the distinguished regiments to make myself remember this stuff. Why should I give my answers, my hard earning and work to you? You see, the thing about it is, I'm not obligated to give y'all nothing. You see, these government shutdowns, these things that are happening. You see, the men who have properly prepared themselves for the winter, who have properly checked themselves and disciplined themselves around the women, the men who have properly outlied themselves from these talking points, you are not so easily touched and shaken by these things, are you? I mean, honestly, I really want you to think about, if you honestly take a step back from this social media and you take a step back from these talking points, these things that are going on, they really don't affect you. They don't. How can they affect a man of means that's been doing and competing for so long? Because whenever they talk about these talking points, they always bring you into their situational equation. Do you ever notice that, MOT?
Oh, yeah.
They always bring you into, like, hold up. Why all of a sudden now, you didn't want me before, but you want me now when you're in the shit? You didn't fuck with me before, but you now want me to participate in your buffoonery. You didn't study. I was ready for this. They're shutting down government stuff. Negro, I've been making more money than this doggone chump change you've been fighting for. You're trying to save a hood that's burning down, and I'm building homes that you can't even come close to. Well, I've been holding back on this for a while. Because these laws and these things that are being passed, You see, when somebody says, watch out for the white man, I'm like, why would I need to watch out for him? Literally, the man, he literally calls me over to pay me to go help him do a job. If anything, he's watching me saying, yo, I see your good works, brothers. Y'all talk about I'm a slave. No. You got it mistaken. You see, that's that plantational we shall overcome talk. You see, that's that talk where the brother who can afford the first automobile, and he drives and said, look at him. He thinks he's a white man. Because they have to walk barefoot on the dirt. They didn't want to go out there and study and learn and actually challenge themselves and better themselves. You see, I'm hearing and I'm watching these talking points on social media and YouTube. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and look at these videos. Look at these videos. Sex strike. What is a sex strike to a man of means? Abortion law. What is an abortion law to a man who's been protecting his legacy? He don't have to worry about that. Gentrification. What is gentrification? I'm not even in that community. Hell, I the only time I might go there is to go see my relatives. Let alone if I have a property out there. You see how I just disassembled all that in just a few minutes? Majority of you brothers in the manosphere, y'all not even in those situations. Why should you even give a damn? Those aren't your problem. Why do you give a dang about Tatiana? She used up her card. Why do you give a dang about the lower hanging fruit? They're not your situational problem. I'm hearing people say, well, how can you look down on people? I don't even look at those people most of the time. I can't look down on something I'm not looking at. Only time I have to deal with people is the working class people, and that I see them at work when I go out there to go shopping or go handle daily day business. Y'all make it seem like brothers of means. We're going to the hood. That's why I said these narratives that they bring up are false. Most of these people who are talking on YouTube don't even live in the black community. Let's be real about that. Most of these people that are telling y'all this BS, they're not even in the black community. Do y'all ever notice that? And the ones who are telling you to be accountable, they get no screen time. But y'all keep on chasing these Negro-centric talking points. And it blows my mind because the Arab, the white, and the Chinese, the African, all of them say, I don't get it. Why is this black American talking like, why does he want to be looked at like a less than, like a fool? Why does he want to shuck and jive? Does he not want to be taken serious? Why is he trying to be cool with the people who don't even like him and throw rocks at him? Huh? Salinka Salam? Huh? That swine? Y'all think I give a shit about this stuff going on now in days? Do you know how it feels when I had to have my class, my school alma mater had to come to me and say, hey, Joe, we're trying to get the money together for a class reunion. Hey, man, we know you know what I'm saying? We know you got some funds. You think you can help us out? I'm like, fuck no. Fuck no. We can just do this goddamn thing on Facebook. Why do I want to give y'all any money? What we gonna do this at the rehab center? It's not my job to save y'all niggas. It's not my job to rehabilitate y'all. I'm done. I'm done. Because up to me, I would leave y'all on Jurassic Park World and let that island go sink right back into the ocean. I'm not saving you niggas no more. And we'll see if you done. I mean, like I said, I know I'm have to. I don't want to mess with the congregation. I'm gonna have to take this to BMT, but I'm gonna cook really loudly. Are we?
You have to understand, man. Like, I mean, speaking of class reunion, I mean, I wasn't even involved, and the money got stolen twice, and I had to reaffirm everybody a second time in order to make sure that we had a class reunion. Man. So I get it. I get it. But you have to understand, man, that these problems are so grand and they're so great that we need to separate at this point. For the sake of everything, we have to. Now, I never thought of it that way, but I mean, we're like a different sect of the religion. We're the new people who see things a different way. And we're not saying that those people should be left there. We're just showing you a better way so you can come to our level versus us coming down to your level. That's all we're saying, man. It's really not that hard or difficult to figure out because we got to have a comparison chart to see what does work and what doesn't. And most of the problem that people don't get or neither understand is they have nothing to compare this to. This is how come we can't move. No one's doing a better thing that they can see. The sad part is there's a lot of people who's going to be able to suffer. Nice and good people who's going to be able to suffer in those circumstances as you try to separate. But nice and good people suffer before then too. And it's sad to have to come to the realization that in order to protect this thing, we may have to start over. This is how bad it is. The productive black man is outnumbered by thousands by these dating coaches and pookie defenders and to a lesser extent the people who actually engage in this stuff. And everybody's doing it for access to women. Like that is the only thing that you should think about and care about as a man. More than your safety, more than your future, more than your everything. That's just where we are at right now. It's sad, but that's exactly where we're at right now. And it's hard to come to those basic tenets of what's actually happening. These sexually repressed dudes, men and women alike, the women are poisoned by the choices that they have, and the men are poisoned by their lack of access to those choices. Rather than go other places and do other things, they decide to stay in the same place and do the same things. So I'm not sure what to do at this point except for separate. I mean, I've made myself. I mean, it's hard, but the first thing I had to do was unniggify my money.
Mm.
That's the first thing I had to do. I need to make sure that I am not dependent on these crazy ass niggas for me to fucking make it in life. So that way I don't have to keep absorbing their talking points. I don't keep have to absorbing their experience. I could go down there for what I need and I can get out of it. The second thing I had to do was I had to create my own homeland outside the hood because the hood is not my damn homeland. The hood is a headspace. It's a lack of male development. And I didn't want that to be my legacy. I decided that I should build my legacy starting with me. And the third thing I had to do was make sure that I'm taking the maximum amount of chance of opportunities that are already here. So that way, along with the other thing, I've further bolstered my position in just separating from this stuff. Because at the end of the day, how could I possibly even make the claims that I am above this stuff if I'm still around here the same exact thing every time? How can I make those claims? How can I quite honestly make those claims? Am I beneath these circumstances or am I above these circumstances? It's just that These are the simple things that I've done to just remove myself from these circumstances so that way I wouldn't be overall affected by the micro changes in these environments. Do I think I'm better? No. Do I think I'm better prepared? Yes. And that's the only thing that I think I'm better at is the preparation and the outcome. Nothing else. The part is, even when you do that, and not even adding politics to it, they will try to call you a sellout. They'll try to shame you and say all this ridiculous stuff about
That
you. And what people don't understand is that I do want things to be better. I don't want them the same. And what people overall don't understand is there's a order of operation here that's going to net you a certain amount of results. And the way that we're clearly doing things are clearly wrong. And there's nobody who's going to be able to clearly benefit from the way things used to work. And you know if you're doing the right thing, if the people are either trying to shame you, have nonsensical conversations about change, or just out and out evading responsibility about how we got there. That's how you know you're on the right track or on the wrong track. So what you have to do, you have to still yourself. You have to put your foot down, so that way you could be able to center yourself. So that way you can make better short-term decisions. So that way you can make better long-term decisions. Because everybody want to be a community without minimum standards. That's the problem here. Everybody want to act like a wild ass fucking reptile without bringing some type of standards to the table, without bringing a track record to the table. And they don't even want to point in the direction of the past to even learn about it. Like, how are we supposed to be better than anybody else if you can't compare yourself to anybody else? I'm just saying, absolving people of their past has not worked for us. As a people, it just haven't worked. It's never been meant to work that way. But a lot of people get a lot of power out of this current dysfunction that we have. And a lot of these people have carved out their niche in this dysfunction and they're just making money off of it. And your job as the man is to sit there and let them do it. But the moment that you try to have some standards and be like, hold on a second, man, all of a sudden you're labeled the hater. They're not the hater for taking advantage of people, but you're the hater for pointing it out. And it's becoming harder and harder because you're further and further more being outnumbered by these people every day. But I can't talk about my experiences. That'll be considered arrogant. But they could talk about their experiences all day long and not be considered arrogant. You see how that works? You see how quickly they invalidate your progress to focus on them, but they want you to work on behalf of them when it's convenient for them. But that can't be called selfish at all, Joe. But if you try to correct things that are wrong, you're labeled with the terms selfish, arrogant, uppity, all those type of words they do to try to let you know that you need to stay in your place, whatever that place is. Most times it's beneath those people, man. They actually see you a lot beneath them for some reason. And we in Black America have pretty much shut down legitimate conversation to focus on nonsense all day. That's what we did. That's what we decided. And they even further decided by blackwashing these communities with all these kids that they have no intention on raising. So that way those kids can carry on their legacy of inaction. There was no white guy who did this. There was no white guy with a Confederate flag who went down there and laid out this plan before them and asked for their tacit approval. This is something that we did to ourselves. Yeah, this is what we did to ourselves. And you have to realize the problem if you want to solve it. Me, it took total isolation for me to get all the stuff out of my system so that way I can look at things in a very true light to be able to move forward. Those are the things that happen that I had to go through. And you have to keep in mind, I was around it from a law enforcement perspective, but I was never living this on the ground perspective. And that's how long it took for me to detox from this stuff. 2 full years. No women, no human interaction outside the people I was delivering to. That's what it took for me to right my ship. I'm just telling people that, hey man, you got to stay away from this nonsense, man. You got to stay away from the nonsense and everything that feeds it. Otherwise, you're just going to become them. It's kind of like the Batman quote. Instead, you can only be so reasonable until you live to be one of the dudes who engage in the dysfunction yourself. That's the way it is, man. Because if you're around it, you succumb to it. So you like the frog in the slowly warming up pot. You don't even realize that you're becoming more and more like them until you step off the cliff and you are them. That's where these things have gone. But as easy as we got there, we can easily get up out of it too, man. But the problem is, most of the people who you need right now have given up. They've given up because they want to take too many people with them. And they're scared for so many people that they're going to have to leave behind in order to get started. And they don't see that as a worthwhile endeavor. They see quitting and going along with the flow as a far more worthwhile endeavor than getting started. That's where we're at right now. How do you get people to rejoin? I'm not sure how that works, man. Because as much as we could tell them that they need to play this thing in a specific fashion, they try to play it long enough to get X. Then they end up ruining their whole progress, and then they blame you for it. I'm still just not sure how we could be able to get around that, man. I don't know. I don't have the answer. I have the answer for myself, but they don't have the. But they don't understand that this is a solo journey. That you're gonna have to figure it out for yourself. It's easy to act like you got things under control. It's easy to act like you got things figured out. Look at how many twists and turns and roads that I have to go through to accomplish the bare minimum. A lot. Now you compare that to other people who probably haven't even tried yet. That seems like the end of the world, and they don't have the type of time to trust in the process and wait that long because they got so many dire issues, man. So it's easier to give up. That's just the issue there, man. I'm not even sure what to say anymore, except for just putting greater and greater distance between you and harmful things. It's probably the only thing that you can do right now. That makes sense. But at the end of the day, man, your progress is going to be some overall that you are going to have to keep to yourself. But there's going to be people who don't even want to hear that. Yeah, man. No survivors. No, you got to be the only survivor sometimes. You got to be the only one to tell the tale sometimes. You got to be the only one for you, and you got to be okay with the fact that you're not going to be able to share this with anybody. Most of the people who helped me be the person that I am today, none of them are here for me to celebrate it with. None of those people are here. Mom, dad not here, grandparents not here, half the coaches who put into this not here. None of these people are here. None of them. And that's the thing, man. You're gonna lose all these people anyway. But what are you doing between the now and the then? That's what matters, man. That's what matters far more than any other thing. Is what are you doing right now for yourself and what you're trying to produce for the future? What are you trying to do? I don't know, man. It's hard sometimes, man, thinking about this stuff.
Like I said, guys, I thank you guys for joining us on the Black Men's Congregation, where we talk about in the betterment of Black men and their self-improvement on their ongoing endeavors and trials and tribulations, that you know your worth as a man and understand that you can obtain success.
Oh, pretty sure.
We thank you for coming. We thank you for supporting us. We thank you for supporting the Black Men's Congregation. We thank you for supporting our separate channels. We do collab on our separate channels. And we do work alongside with the Manosphere. And we also do our outside business. If you need consultation, you know to email us, call us. You can also get in contact with us on the Black Men's Congregation on our Facebook page. We have been working with men and speaking with them, giving them financial, political, and situational advice. And we've been hearing nothing but good things. We've been out and about showing y'all videos of our lives, of us doing things, not just in front of the camera, but also out there doing things. And we would like to keep on showing y'all that there is a better way. Thank you guys for everything. In a few minutes, probably around, what time is it right now? It's 1. So probably around, I'll probably say 2:30, I will get on. And I will do a talk. I will probably do a talk. But other than that, we thank you guys for everything. Y'all take care. Peace.